Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna be going over my list and picking a few things off there that I want to get done. There's a couple things for sure that I need to get done. I want to get the wheels back on the front of the truck so I can get it back down on the ground and move it around. Um, so there's that. There's a few things I got to do before I do that. And I'd kind of like to get all the stuff that's going to be in the tan color, get all that painted. So there's garnish moldings, there's the underside of the hood, and the rims. So yeah, a bunch of stuff to do. See how much I get done, how far I get, and we'll just go like hell and see what happens. So stay tuned. Okay, so before I put the wheels on, I want to paint underneath here, and get all the fender, inner fenders, and underside of the outer fender, everything painted up. So I'm gonna go ahead, get that done, and but before I do that, these holes here, I'm gonna tape them up from the outside so I don't get runs coming down on my tan paint and stuff. And I've got to tighten up a couple bolts here and there, nothing major. Also, I guess these inner fenders are from a 54, I believe, and the holes for the grill didn't line up in relation to the inner fender. In other words, the holes in the inner fender were down here somewhere. So I had to re-drill the holes and match everything up so when I put the grill in, everything lines up. So I still got to do this side yet. There's some messing around to do here. But anyway, we'll get all those little things done, and I'll paint all that up. Then I can get the wheels on and get it back down on the ground. So, it's a lot easier if I can move this thing down around and make room when I have to, especially when I'm doing things like painting the hood and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll just carry on and get to it. Hey guys, it's actually the next day. Yesterday I finished off the day doing a bunch of stuff off camera. I was painting under the fenders and sanding on a rear fender and kind of dull, boring stuff that I didn't bother filming. But which brings me to a bit of a story time. This just happened last night. So after I was done for the day on the truck, it's about 10:30, 11 o'clock, I guess. I cracked open a beer and I was checking out a couple of YouTube videos. And then I hear this noise up in the ceiling, up by the far wall. So I take a look, and plastic's moving. There's some kind of a critter in there. So I grabbed my my broom. It's on an extension pole, and I extended it, and I whacked it a few times, through the plastic, and it kind of buggered off back to where it came from, I guess. And I didn't think much of it. Never heard it again for the rest of the evening. And I was up for about another hour and a half. So anyway, I go to bed, and I guess when I was in bed, the little bugger made a return. So I come in this morning, and the plastic is down a little bit. Not right down, but down a little bit. So he was back there. There's no sign of him this morning or anything. But so I go check it out, and I look, and I can see daylight through my roof. That's not a good thing. So I grabbed the ladder, and there's only about 3 feet between the garage and the neighbor's fence, so the ladder is almost straight up and down. Anyway, I go up there, and I take a look, and there's 2 boards that had just been pulled apart, like they were dry rot, but they were pulled apart, man. There are pieces all over the place. So yeah, a couple of boards, about 7 feet long. So each board's 1 by 6. So we're talking about a 1 foot by 7 foot hole in my roof. No shingles, no wood, no nothing. So that's what I spent the better part of my morning and some of the afternoon doing. I had to pull back some shingles, replace some of the boards on the roof deck, and lay some shingles down and seal it up. So I was doing that, and like I said, the ladder's almost straight up and down. It's not easy, and I'm not as agile as I used to be, or bendy or whatever you want to say. But I got it done, and I was, hammering the last shingle down, and it just started to rain, and a couple of flashes of lightning, and being up on an aluminum ladder, lightning storm is not a good idea. So I got the hell off the ladder and laid it down, came in the garage, and it poured pretty good, and I didn't have any leaks, so that's a good thing. But my neighbor just called me a redneck. I used 8 different colors of shingles. They're all shingles from leftover from jobs I've done in the past. So there's a red one, a blue one, a gray one, a couple of black ones, brown ones. But anyway, it's just a temporary patch. As long as it holds me over until, say, the late fall, I got to do the whole side. But yeah, so it poured again about 10 minutes ago, and no leaks. So that should be good for a bit, and hopefully that'll keep the critters out. So yeah, that's my story time. So we must get back after the truck. All right, so you can see it's all painted up, shiny black, looking pretty spiffy. So yeah, got it all done. 2 coats. This was done, like I said, yesterday. It's still tacky. That's how damp and humid and stuff it's been. So it's taken forever to dry. So anyway, underneath the fenders is done. So I turned my attention to the e-brake. What did I do with it? There it is. So I am going to go with this one, and I'm going to elevate it just a little bit so that I don't have to. So I'll put this down, so I don't have to put a big ass hole in my floor for this whole mechanism to move around. So this will actually be above the floor. Then I'll only have to drill a small hole big enough for the cable and a grommet. So what I used to elevate it was just this piece of heavy wall, 1-inch square tubing, and we'll mount it like so, right through the floor, and actually it'll be like that. And yeah, call it done. Clean it up and paint it. So I'm going to go ahead, block off this end here, weld it shut, and clean it all up, mount it, see how everything works, and then, like I said, I'll clean it up and paint it. So there you go. E-brake handle will be mounted, or yeah, and just gonna have to wait for a cable to come in. All right, so that's where she's going, and that's it. So press the little button. We're good to go. So I can pull it out, paint it up, get it back in. It's a bit of a bitch, especially the back bolt. It's right along a ridge there, and it's a pain in the ass, but whatever. It's in there, so that's where she stays. That's it. I tried to keep it close to the shifter, but not so close that you'd wrap your knuckles on the bolts and stuff. There's going to be a boot on here anyhow, so yeah, I think it's all right. Don't want 3 long-legged people in here anyway, that's for sure. But it's not made for that. Put long-legged people in the box where they belong. Anyway, there you go. Okay, so now that I got the e-brake in, yeah, I gotta wait for the cable, can't hook it up. But anyway, I'm gonna move on to a couple of things in the front here. One is the electric cooling fan, and maybe get started on a battery box as well. So, when I got this fuse box and wiring harness, it came with some wiring diagrams, and the ignition switch diagram shows keyed accessories is tagged as labeled the wire. Problem is, there's no wire that corresponds to that coming from the fuse panel. So there is one wire that's labeled power accessories. So I'm thinking that's it. I'm thinking that's going to the ignition switch. So I'm gonna have to test it. If I put power to that wire and test the other accessory wires and they become hot when I put juice to it, then I know that that's going to my ignition switch. So I'm going to grab my my old 6-volt battery, put some juice to that wire and see what happens. And yeah, hopefully that's the one, because other than that, I don't know which one it would be. So yeah, we'll give it a shot. Okay, so this is the wire that I was talking about. It's marked power accessories, and I've got this here is an accessory wire right here. So if I were to touch this, oh yeah, there we go. I got another accessory wire here. I'm going to check that out. If I ground this, it should light up as well. There we go. Okay. So I know what I got. That saves me a ton of dicking around trying to figure things out. We're good. Right on. So one of these wires is going to go to my electric fan. So yeah, right on. Good. All right, so this fan kit comes with the relay, 4-pin relay. There's a fuse holder here. It's got a circuit breaker. Yeah. Now it also has the temperature sensor switch, which would go into the block. I don't think I'm going to use this. I think I'm just going to ground this thing out. When you turn the key on, the fan comes on, and that's it. I think that's just the easiest way. Some guys say, oh, it's going to run too cold. Well, whatever. It's better cool than hot. So that's the way I look at it. So yeah, I'm going to run it to keyed power. So I'm going to mount this stuff under here somewhere, maybe around here, behind the grill. And that's the reason I'm doing this now, is because I want to clear coat my grill and get it in place, get it on the truck. There it is there. So yeah, I want to take care of all this stuff behind the grill, and yeah, we're gold. So I'm gonna get to it, start mounting all the pieces. Okay, so here's my circuit breaker. The power from the battery will go here to the copper one, and this red one will go on this post. This is my keyed power. Here's ground, and that's to the fan, the blue one. Now, I've done a bunch of reading on this, and having the circuit breaker and the fuse in the same line seems a little redundant to me. What a lot of guys do is put the fuse between the relay and the fan. So it would go on the blue wire instead of being on this red wire, and the circuit breaker acts like a fuse anyway. If it's going to protect the relay. So yeah, I think I'm going to move this to the blue wire, and we'll hook everything up, and then I'll get some kind of a bracket to make the fan fit, and we'll call that done. So I'm going to go ahead and carry on. Okay, so with the kit, these are what they tell you to mount it with. So this slips through the mounting holes in the fan, and you squeeze this through in between fins of the rad, and then on the other end there's a sort of an end like this, about a female. You slip that in here, kind of like a zip tie, pull it in tight, and then cut off the excess, and that's it. It's strapped right to the rad. The problem with this setup, or this set, is the female ends are missing. They didn't ship them. So I gave them a crappy rating on Amazon. And went on to figure something else out to mount the fan. So this is what I came up with. So there it is. It's just two pieces of C-channel. Like I mean, it's not tightened up yet, but I got to take it apart, clean it up, and paint it anyway. But you get the idea. So also, I brought my fuse to the inside of the engine bay, so it's easy to get at. You won't have to take half the truck apart if you blow a fuse. And it's all wired up and pretty much ready to go. So if I was to take this wire and the wire from the battery, twist them together and put it on the positive post of the battery, ground this out, this thing should run. So I'm curious to see if, because they say it's reversible, so have they, like I ordered a push fan, but I don't know, it might be a pull fan. So I'm going to have to see which way it turns. So I'll set up the battery, and even though it's a 6 volt, it'll still turn a fan, just to see if everything's going to work okay. So that's where I'm at. All right, I'm going to just, turns out the 6 volt battery's won't trip the relay. So I'm just going to wire it direct just to see which way it turns. Like I say, it's just a 6 volt battery. So oh, it's blowing. Yeah. Okay, so should be able to just swap these out. There we go. Remember, that's only half power, 6 volts. So, all right, we're good to go. Hey, I gotta tidy up the wiring, clean it all up, protect everything, strap some stuff and that. So, and then I gotta take the fan out, clean up those brackets and paint them, and I'll call it done. So there you go. A few more things locked off the list. You know, as soon as we're in the middle of a friggin' monsoon right now. It's just pouring, thunder, lightning, and everything else. As soon as that's over, I'm gonna actually probably be in the morning. I'm gonna steal a battery out of my truck, 12 volt, and see if for sure if it's that's the reason the relay's not working. If not, I do have another relay. So I want to get that dialed in for sure before I put the grill on, and then things are hard to work on, right? So yeah, all good. What else? Yeah, just gonna keep plugging away, man, knocking things off the list. As soon as we get a nice sunny day, I want to clear coat the grill and maybe get the rims painted. You know, I got garnish moldings to prime and paint yet. A few other things. The underside of the hood's got to be done. You can hear the thunder. But anyway, there's no shortage of work to do, so I'm just going to keep going at it and knocking things off the list. That's all I can do. New subscribers, thank you. And once again, you know, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And you know, tell your buddies, spread the word. I could use the help and the support, and I truly do appreciate it whenever I do get a subscription. Don't be shy, leave comments down below. I always try to answer all the comments, or respond to them at least. And yeah, all good. So I think in the next video I'll probably build a battery box as well, so that I can hook a battery in this thing permanently and then start running things and testing things and making sure that everything's coming along in the right direction, and yeah, carry on from there. So whatever. And if you're not doing anything, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.